How to get the Allay mob in Minecraft. This video will explain what the Allay is, where to find it, and how it can be used. What is the Allay mob? The Allay is a new mob added in the 1.19 update, the Wild update. The Allay is a passive mob that can't be harmed by its owner, meaning the player. It is a sixth of a block tall and wide, and is similar to the Vex mob. There's a luminous texture to the Allay that will make it easier to see at night. The Allay has a health of 20, and if it takes damage, it will generate 2 of its health per a second. The unique ability of the Allay is that the player can give an item to the Allay and it will pick this item up from the ground, putting it in its inventory, then drop it near the player. To do this, the player has to give an item to the Allay. This can be a non-stackable item like armor or tools, an item that stacks to 16 like ender pearls or eggs, or a stack of 64 like dirt or stone. The Allay will hold this item in its hand. There is only one inventory slot for the Allay, so they can only pick up as many items as they can stack, for example 64. When the item is in their hand, they will search 32 blocks around the player and will follow the player 64 blocks away. The item in their hand can be removed by the player clicking on them with nothing in your hand or an empty inventory slot. When there is no item in the Allay's hand, the Allay will fly around aimlessly like most of the mobs in the game. So it might not be a bad idea to keep something in their hand so they stay close to the player. A lead can also be attached to the Allay. The lead could be useful for attaching to a fence post to keep them close to a location like a desert if you use the Allay to collect sand. If a note block is played near the Allay will instead return the items to the note block instead of the player. This has to happen up to 30 seconds with the vibration of the note block reaching the Allay. You can see this happen as there will be a signal that travels from the note block to the Allay. The Allay will search the area around the note block for items in its hand. How to get the Allay in Minecraft. There are 2 locations where you can find the Allay. The first location is the Woodland Mansion. The Woodland Mansion is found in the Dark Forest biome and is thousands of blocks away from the spawn point. The mansion is a rare structure. 1 to 3 Allays may spawn in the large jail room. The 1 to 3 potential Allays appear to be for each cell in the large jail room. If a large jail room generates in the Woodland Mansion, you have a good chance of getting Allays and getting several of them. This is mostly a cobblestone structure. It'll have cauldrons and brown carpet in it. The Woodland Mansion will have a lot of different mobs like Vindicators, Evokers, and because of the low light level in certain areas, zombies, creepers, and skeletons. One thing to note about the Woodland Mansion is that it doesn't generate the same each time, so it is possible it will not have a large jail with Allays inside, or the Allays may not be in the jail. The Cartographer Villager will have a trade of 14 emeralds and a compass for a Woodland Explorer map at the journeyman level. You can use this Woodland Explorer map to try and find the nearest Woodland Mansion. The other spot to find the Allay is in the Pillager Outpost. The Pillager Outpost is a semi-rare structure and can be hundreds or thousands of blocks apart from each other. There are a lot of potential biomes that the Pillager Outpost can generate in, and it is less rare than the Woodland Mansion. The outpost will be occupied by pillagers and pillager captains equipped with crossbows. With the Pillager Outpost, there will be structures that can generate around it like tents, target areas, and cages. Each outpost can be generated with different structures around the watchtower or no structures at all. The cage can generate with 1 to 3 Allays in it. The Allays only spawn in these at world generation, so if you leave and come back, it won't spawn more Allays. An important detail about the Allay is that it can't be bred, so if you want Allays, you will have to find each one. Also, the spots they spawn are rare, so it may be difficult to find one or to get more than a couple. What are the Allays used for? As explained earlier, one of the interesting features of the Allay has to do with the note block. When it plays, the Allay will bring blocks to the note block. It will try to put blocks on the note block. This is useful, especially in resource gathering, as you can just mine and the Allay can pick up and collect the blocks. If you're like me, you miss a few blocks when you are mining. If you can place a minecart hopper on a rail under the note block, it will pick up the items that the Allay places on top. The allay will also pick up any items it doesn't drop on the note block, so you only need one hopper to collect the items. You will need a clock for it to continually fire a redstone signal to turn on the note block. This has to be about every 30 seconds. You can see when the note block turns on, there's a signal to the allay. Here's an example of a clock to use. When you turn on the lever, this will output a signal into the comparator, which is in subtraction mode. It goes through the repeaters back to the comparator. This will fire every 5 seconds. If you want to increase the time, you can add more repeaters and increase the delay. Using redstone circuits, you can keep expanding to make it easier to collect items, even putting them into shulker boxes, chests, or an item sorter.